Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, all these people, they are messed up because they didn't have these vehicles in place.
Wow.
So if you can go look up their estate. A lot of these people don't have these vehicles in place, and now they're in a situation to where they can't control nothing because they're not here. Now their kids is in court begging for they daddy money. That don't even make sense. You ever look back at yourself like when you was 15, 16, 17?
Cringe at yourself.
Like,
How was I doing that?
Like you look at your old videos, what am I doing? When you consistently like evolve, you would start to look back at yourself and like, oh my God, I cannot believe I was thinking so small. There's another thing. A lot of my clients don't even know who I am. While these people is sitting here in the space, sitting down with the client, getting to know them. Hey, how's your family? My clients are buying my stuff. I don't have to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? If you're in your 20s and 30s, you should be the most humble person ever. I don't care. Even if you think you're the big dog, you're not. Trust me. Like, you have to be very, very humble, and you gotta get rid of that ego. You have to be able to just show up. Like, stop.
We're young right now, and it seems like we don't have health complications. We don't have anything crazy going on. We feel like we have so much time. Why is it important for every single one of us in Gen Z right now to get health insurance or life insurance?
So here's why it's important. Number one is because you should.
What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Pure Intentions Podcast. I'm your host, David.
I'm Cyrus.
And welcome back to episode 12 now. We're at episode 12. But remember, if you have not watched episode 11, it was absolutely phenomenal. We had an intense conversation about the war on men. So go check it out. It's probably on the screen right now. But today, man, I'm ready. I'm excited to get into this conversation. Like, this is someone that I have been watching for years. I've worked with him for years, and I've been able to see what the true essence of an entrepreneur kind of is from someone in my age group. And, you know, if you don't know who he is, his name is Keyon Edwards. He's an entrepreneur in Atlanta. He's done some amazing things, but I'm gonna let him do the honors of introducing himself.
Hey man, appreciate y'all for having me on, man. But yeah, Keyon Edwards, go by Keylock. I've been hustling for a very long time. Right now I'm a financial planner, so I do a lot of financial planning for a lot of people, pretty much all across the US. So whether it's insurance, investments, trust, things like that. So that's my hub now. So I quit the hustle and I said, okay, let's start a career. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing, 23 years old. Grew up in Atlanta, grew up on the east side, been on the west side, went to Clark, Atlanta. So I've been in Atlanta really my whole life.
Yeah. So. Born and raised. Now that's crazy, bro. So just real quick, when you hear the word financial advisor and financial planner, like what is that real difference?
So licensing, right? Okay. And focusing. So when you're talking about a financial advisor, you know, you got different things that a financial, it's just like a word, you know, for example, you know, Robert F. Smith.
Yeah.
He has certain licenses that technically he's a financial advisor, right? But people choose what they actually want to be. You could be a financial advisor and be Grant Cardone. So you could be raising money. I focus on financial advising and the money and planning the money on where the investments go. Or like myself, I mainly focus on the planning portion. So that means that I would assist people in putting their money into insurance policies, planning for their next investments. I would assist with portfolio management. So whether they got a 401k portfolio, let's say health insurance, situations like that. So financial planning is kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? They cross paths. I could use whatever term, honestly.
Okay.
Because the licenses could cross paths.
Yeah.
But I like planner because people can ask those type of questions. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's like you think they're two different things. I always thought like a financial advisor, or I thought one was focused on more like taxes and getting ready for taxes, and the other one was like the holistic view, kind of like a psychiatrist and a psychologist type of thing. But nah, that's interesting, bro. Like, how did you at 23 years old, like, did you go to college for this? Did you?
No.
Like, how did you get into financial planning?
So when I went to Clark, right? I went to Clark on a ROTC scholarship, right? Okay. And that was going to be my focus. Once I got into the program day one, I kind of knew that this probably was not going to be something I was going to do for a long time. So that's where I transitioned over into the Forex world. I pretty much knew a little bit about network marketing, but that kind of like got me a little bit more interested in numbers, got me more interested in like how things work with the economy. Because at first I'm thinking, you know, like everybody else, you got to go to work, so get a job, you know, $50 an hour, $100 an hour. Like, oh, you know, 6 figures, that's a great career. But I didn't know that you could actually make more money. Like, when people say it sounds so cliche. Yeah. So when I started that journey in the Forex world, it pretty much opened my mind to sales. It opened my mind to the markets. Like, bro, I was with people that were making $1 million in a day. Just from
that's some exposure.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
Like, what, like 21 years old, 22?
No, I'm 18.
18?
I'm 18, 19.
That's exposure.
I'm riding around with my mentor. He got a Rolls Royce, twin Rolls Royces. You know what I'm saying? He hopping on jets, and I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching him make a whole bunch of money, which was cool, but I'm watching where he puts his money. So he puts his money into the market. And when sometimes he'll manage it, sometimes he don't. He'll have a financial advisor that manage it. Back then, I didn't know what was going on. But I remember him showing his TD Ameritrade E-Trade account, and he had $20 million sitting in that account. Ooh. Wow. So in that world, in my mind, I'm like, dang, like you got $20 million just sitting. I didn't understand that rich people aren't really spending their money. Like wealthy people are not spending. Let me get rich people, they blowing it. Yeah. Wealthy people are in a space to where they're making as much money as they can to store in an account, and the institution is paying them a percentage. Let's just say I get paid 10% a year on that 20 million. That's $2 million a year I'm gonna make for the rest of my life, minimum, and it's compounding. Yeah. So after my journey in Forex, I already saw that version. So then I pretty much went into some sales stuff. My homies in Chicago, you know Malik, real life chosen one. He pretty much introduced me to the whole insurance space. And at first I'm like, okay, it's a whole bunch of old people, things like that, the cliche type conversations. But I'm like, oh, joint. Keyon, like you never really had to like intellectually study for something that you actually selling. So once I started studying and once I started actually really getting a foundation, I'm like, bro, this ain't no lick. Like this is something that you could do for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years and actually sell your business if you wanted to throughout this whole entire time. Yeah. So that's when I got out of the hustle mindset and I said, okay, it's time to start building a business. And I said, the easiest way to build a business is through the financial services industry. Hands down. Real estate is cool, but it ain't got nothing to know.
Dealing with money, I feel like it's always going to yield the best type of returns for you because it's like everybody has to deal with money. So if you can help people deal with money on a high level and you get a percentage of that, I mean, 5 clients you set for that. You see what I'm saying? Like it's crazy to think about, but like that's amazing, bro.
Wait, so what other ventures have you dabbled in?
Bro, before I did the Forex thing, I was doing credit repair. Okay. After that, I've done the clothing brand that we were just talking about. I did the YE clothing brand for a short period of time. I've done door knocking in Chicago, trying to sell. I don't even know what. It was some paper they need to sign, and we'll make money off of it. I don't know what. Okay. So anything dealing with like sales, I pretty much have kind of done it. Okay. But actually taking serious outside of network marketing this is the longest venture I've ever been in. So I've been in financial service I've been in the finance world for about 7 years. So I consider Forex the finance world. But I've been in this industry, licensed financial services, probably about close to 2.5 years.
Okay. That's nice, bro. So when I look at insurance, when someone is looking to start a business, I've transitioned from the mindset of I need to make money quickly into kind of like what's going to give me the best chances of longevity in this. And when you look at insurance companies, when you look at banks, insurance companies, medical stuff like that, just essential businesses, they are the longest standing and they make the most money. Yeah. Like why insurance? Like I get that you can get a percentage off of what somebody's paying a month, but why insurance? Why not go into just strictly dealing with people in tax?
So the insurance space is a lot more. So specifically, we talking about life insurance, right? If I wanted to, because I spend about 80% of my time on the life insurance sector, because the life insurance sector is so it's like it goes deeper and deeper and deeper because they have so many different products. Like you said, they've been around 150 years, so they're a lot more advanced. Now, when I got started, all I wanted to sell was a product that I didn't have to overly convince people. So like with certain products like courses and stuff like that, you got to tell them it's going to change your life.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that with this. I'm selling contracts. I'm selling money, literally. You give me a penny, I give you $100,000. That's just how it is. When it comes down to these insurance companies, they're in contracts. You follow a contract, you get your money. You don't, you just don't get your money. So it's like, I don't have to do too much selling. Do you want it or not? So I realized that, okay, that's number one. I want to get out of that hustle mindset of just, knowing how to talk and selling. And the second portion is, how can I get into a real business model? And when I say real business model, I noticed that a lot of people in our age group, we run away from real business. Like
We do.
We want licks. We don't want real business. We don't want what's hard. And what's hard is going to make your life easy in the long run. But what's easy now is going to make your life harder in the beginning. And I didn't want that wave of having to worry about, okay, bet I just made this money this year. Now I got to go back to work. So the insurance sector, that was just a start for me, bro, because I really thought I knew what I was talking about, and I haven't a clue. It's a lot easier to get a $500,000 life insurance policy that's an asset than a $500,000 home. 10 times easier. And they're both weighted the same as that. Like, it's just money. It's numbers.
Wow.
You go get a $500,000 home, pass away, you pass it down to your family. Okay, they can go sell it for $500,000. You go get a $500,000 insurance policy. Guess what? They're gonna get cashed out. It's the same value. It's a lot easier to do it that way. So that's what I want for myself. I wanted something easy. I wanted something that I didn't have to do too much, and I wanted something that I could sell in a way that made sense. Because a lot of stuff that's been sold just doesn't make sense. People regret it.
Yeah. Did that come from like your previous ventures where you just learned a lesson? Like, no, we did all of these things, but getting into this, we see the pros and cons. This is the right way that I need to go.
Yeah. Because due to the fact that I was around so many mature people, I learned so many lessons. Like a wise person, you learn from other people's mistakes. So no offense to those mature people, but I was able to realize the things, like they were so talented, but they always had the need to start over. Like they didn't ever get out of hustle mode. So I realized that, okay, let me look at a space and let me look at the people that's been doing the same thing for 20, 30 years and it's been compounding. Like, it's cool for you to go make $1 million a year, once in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? You had $1 million a year. But look at the people that's been having $1 million a year for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and it's been compounding over time. So those were the things that I saw. I was like, okay, but I don't want to be like that when I'm 35 or 45, and I'm 20 years in the industry. Okay, I'm starting my new company. That was one of the things that I didn't want to do. I wanted to, whatever I've been doing, I can just compound and build now. And hey, listen, whatever I got in the next 10 years, that's what I got.
And it's crazy, bro, because when I see your social media, bro, I see consistency.
Yeah.
Like I see someone that is on it every day and you showing people that you on it. But I don't think it's because you want to show people that you on your shit. You on your shit because you on your shit. This is what you do. But because you put it out to the world, it's showing other people that they can kind of get on the same wave. But like you said, bro, starting that early and saying, bro, I don't care if this takes 10, 20 years. The fact that I'm going to be consistent in this, and especially being that it's in the insurance industry, I'm at 23 years old. I know what I know now. I put in 2 more years, I'm going to know so much more. So imagine 10, 20. And I can just see already that you're going to have a successful business because you're consistent in it. And when I was going through entrepreneurship and I'm still going through entrepreneurship, but when I was just looking at it, analyzing like which way is the best way to go, you can do anything.
Literally.
You just have to be consistent with
all the
it.
time.
You have to choose what you're going to do and you have to do it for as long as you can.
Yeah.
Don't be out here switching and stuff because you reset the timer. Exactly. We said this in another episode. Like you cannot keep backtracking. You have to pick what you good at, and that's why we push so much to look on the inside. What is my strengths? How can I play on my strengths and be consistent in that instead of trying to be consistent at something that I'm not really good at, that I don't really want to do? Let me dive into myself. How can I give myself to the world and get a benefit from it, bro? And during that insurance, that's so smart, bro. But what gave you that edge early on to want to be around these people? Like you said 12, 13, bro. 12, 13, I was just now starting to learn graphic design, bro. Like this man is starting his entrepreneur stuff. Like, bro, what difference between you and your peers led you to go that way?
What separated you?
Yeah, so the thing about it is this, right? I went to like 10 different schools, right? So I went to Columbia, I've been to Eagles Landing, I graduated from MLK. Yeah. I didn't been on the East Point. I went to school in East Point. So it's like I realized that a lot of people, we were asked the same question. What do you want to be when you grow up? And people say basketball player. People say this. People say that. I never had a thing that I wanted to be. Like, never. And I'm like, dang. Like, I always felt bad for it. Yeah. So now you get to about 12, 13 years old. Shout out to Kadeem. He came to an exchange part. We just playing ball. Me and my homies, we playing ball. We on Columbia Drive, right? And at one point, I remember, like, you know, at that time, we still dreaming. We like, okay, I want that, I want this, I want that. But everybody believes that they finna be a basketball player. Yeah. Everybody believes, and I can't play basketball. You know what I'm saying? I'm 5'8". Like, that's not gonna happen. And I can't rap. So everybody slick had their route on how they was gonna make their money. I didn't have my route on how I was gonna make my money. So I realized that, okay, since I don't have a talent, how can I leverage off of some kind of way? So at that time, that's when I started doing the research. You know, you 12, 13, you want a job. Like, I was one of those people that wanted a job, but nobody would hire me because I was too young. So I'm like, okay, but since I can't work, what's the easiest? So you go on YouTube, hey, what's the easiest thing I can do? You can start a Shopify store. I never was consistent with that, right? And the reason why is because I realized you needed money. You have no money, you have no job. I mean, you might as well just sit there. So that's what started that. And then by the time I got to high school, that's where the switch came. So I always had the entrepreneurship thought, but I had to switch when I got to high school because I realized that in the military, you retire at 38. So people that retire, because you do 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
You retire at 38 in the military and you get a check for the rest of your life. So I'm watching peers, you know, teachers and stuff, they getting a check for 10 grand a month for the rest of their life and they don't have to work for the rest of their life just because they worked for 20 years. And I'm seeing them be successful and they're black. So I'm like, I thought, and some of these people are millionaires. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that's the route I need to go. So for the 4 years in my high school, I went to 3 different high schools. For my 4 years in my high school career, just ironically, I always had the same, you know, group, the same ROTC stuff. They were all rich. They had the nice house. They had the lifestyle that I wanted. Multiple cars, wives, stuff like that. So I thought that was the way. I literally thought, like military, that's the best thing to save people. So by the time I get to college, that's when the switch came. Because I realized that, join. This is a bigger sacrifice than I thought it was going to make.
That right there, bro. Yeah. That's what fucked me up, bro.
You was thinking about going to the military?
No, when you get to college and you see how big of a sacrifice it is, especially being that. So I didn't go in on a scholarship, bro. I didn't realize how detrimental that could have been if I didn't stop it when I stopped it, bro. Yeah. Like, people be going into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. Not even that, just spending that amount of time on something that you shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy that you notice the same thing. Like,
college changed my life.
Yeah, bro. Like, what was that moment like for you? Like, what made you realize that? Because for me, it was just like the student loans. I'm like, I have to pay these. I have debt now. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, so you were trying to go to the military, though?
So I was trying to go, yeah. So I had the $400,000. Yeah. They just wanted me to do certain things. So I give you an example. Monday through Friday, 4 a.m., you got to wake up. You got to go run 2-3 miles a day. You got to go work out throughout the day. Now you traveling from, Georgia State. Then you traveling from Morehouse or Georgia State to attend class, but you have to wear uniform. Okay. Now, this is when things got real tricky for me, right? So remind you, I'm 5'8". It ain't that many black people, of course it's Morehouse, it's still Clark, it's still Georgia State, but the people that actually have the scholarship, it's not that many black people. And they're not, they're not 5'8", they're a lot bigger, things like that. So one day I was in class and it was like, okay, babe, we're going to do this exercise. We're going to drop you off in the middle of the woods. At that time, it's like, okay, yeah, we're definitely not doing that.
Yeah, we're definitely
once I started doing my sales business, by that time I was making $5,000 a month in a dorm room on campus. So I had to weigh the pros and cons. I didn't want to leave school. School dropped me out because I lost a scholarship. So at that time it was like, oh, well, I'm making, like, I thought $60,000 was like up here because that's what the world told me. The way that program was set up, they made us believe that after the 4 years, you're going to get locked in at $60,000. So imagine I'm going through all this hell for, I didn't get to the 4 years, but I'm preparing to go through all this hell for 4 years. And after the 4 years, I'm like, man, I'm going to make my $60,000 a year. In my first year, on my side hustle in college, full time, I'm making $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to stay here.
I was like,
He's like, yeah, throw that away.
I ain't got to wake up at 4 a.m. to make money. Like, I literally believed this was going to be my route out because that's what I was convinced. And I'm like, oh, no, I ain't got to do that. I thought I had to join the military to travel the world too.
Yeah.
I didn't believe, like, some of the notions that people actually put on us, it's actually bad. Like,
For sure.
you go back to these schools and you talk to these kids, they real life believe that people don't, like, black people don't travel.
Yeah.
Because I used to believe that. I didn't, like, what? If I want to travel the world, I go to the military.
That's so sad, man.
I get on the ship and do it. That's one way to do it. Don't get it messed up, but you can do it on your own. You make a way for yourself. You do not, bro. You do not have to go out to all of these jobs, these people, and get them to make a way for yourself. You can literally work your ass off. Make practical steps on a daily basis. What do we say? Be consistent. You will get what you want. You can travel the world. You'll have way more money than they trying to lock you in at. Like he said, on the first year, $60,000.
60,000.
Bro, when I was like 18, bro, I probably thought $60,000 was like unattainable. Honestly,
That's
bro.
so crazy.
Like
bro.
for real, bro. Like, cause I was just like, well, probably not 18, probably like 16. Cause by 18, I had started probably like my first drop shipping store. I started like 2 of those.
You had success with that?
No, I like he said, I was never consistent with it. Like, but what that did teach me was like marketing and stuff. You know how I'm in design, so that put me into like product design, advertisement design, and I found like love in that because making designs for a company was where, you know what I'm saying, I felt right at. But did you have any, like, when you were told that your scholarship was dropped, did your parents have any type of feeling towards that?
I didn't tell my mom. My mom was my biggest worry. My dad, he really didn't care. As long as I wasn't in the street, he was a street guy. So as long as I wasn't in the streets, he didn't really care. But my mom, she's the school person. So my mom had me at like 17. So her route out was school. Her hustle was school, right? So how I hustle entrepreneurship, she hustled school. So she like, yo, if you want a good life, this is what you need to do. Okay, cool. So I was extremely nervous to tell my mom. Some kind of way, I got an uncle. He go to an event, and somebody goes up to him, and he goes to check on me with one of the teachers because he's really known at Morehouse. And I'm like, what? We ain't seen him in so long. So he goes back and tell my mom. I come around Christmas. By the time my mom don't know I'm not staying on campus, right? I got a crib in Buckhead. My mom don't know that, right? So it's like, okay, I go back. I knew something was gonna happen because she called me. She asked me about midterms. I'm like, it was good, And at that time, it was very, you stepping into manhood. Yeah. And it's very intimidating because it's like, yo, like if you're gonna be a man, you're gonna be a man. Like my mom ain't the type to like baby you. She's like, "Oh, you go out there, go." But ain't nothing else to talk about. You ain't never coming back. So at that time, it was like, bro, like, it was like hell, bro. It was like people looked down on me. It was like the weirdest thing ever. Like people literally looked at me as if I was just the dumbest person in the world. Like I'm just like,
Even though you was having success with what you were doing, they
didn't. So here's the thing. Just because in those communities, just because you're making money doesn't make it right to them. Because you got to think, man, people have trained people that money is a bad thing. Like people have trained you to like, hey, listen, if you didn't go to school for 12 years, you're not certified to be da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Like, where's your certification? Who do you think you are? Where's your business degree?
Come on, man.
Like, bro, okay. Yeah. So it's very hard to convince people of that. And I think what really changed a lot of people's mindset, and I'm talking about everybody in my family, I'm talking about everybody, was COVID. Right after that, COVID happened. So imagine all this pressure of, oh, you ain't go to school, you ain't do this, and COVID happened, and not nobody in school. And I'm the only one in the family making money because all of my business was online. So it's like, now
they looking like,
you know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
Like, what you doing again? Yeah, I'm making money online. Why you quarantine?
Yeah.
So now the roles were reversed. And now it's looking like, dang, like maybe he did know what he was talking about, just a little bit. But I'll tell you, COVID changed the world, bro.
For sure.
Bro, we had a whole episode talking about how COVID changed the world, bro. And like to that point, bro, they have to look to you now because that's something that they don't know about. They don't know how to make money online. They have to look to you. And this is the first time in history that's like that, bro, where the elders have to look to the young people for what to do next, where to go, what not to do, what's suspicious, what's a fraud, what's a phishing email, what's all of these things, bro. Like they have to come to us now. And that's what COVID did, bro. It just opened the world's eyes. It made people take things more serious. You know what I'm saying? But like in terms of like our thing, it just like our specific class of 2020, bro, all of us got knocked out our paths, bro. I thought I was gonna be in college, playing lacrosse on a full ride scholarship after my senior year, bro. I was still doing design and stuff, but I just didn't know to make it a business. You know what I'm saying? But nah, that's interesting, bro.
What you think? So it seemed like you have a lot of success with most of the ventures that you go into. So what you think separates you? Because a lot of people try the things that you try. I got an uncle. You under Primerica? You heard of Primerica? Yeah. So he been trying to push that onto me. And I'm like you said, it's like, bro, he's sending me like the Zoom calls. I'm like, bro, like what even is this? Bro, I'm seeing all these old heads like
Zoom calls.
Bro, like what is this? So I'm asking you, like, what you think separates you from most people, like. Not just in the insurance space, just in general. Like, why do you think you have success when other people don't?
I'm independent.
Independent?
So that's the other thing. When I got started with this, it's a lot of blackballing in business that a lot of people don't talk about. So when I got started in this, I decided to go independent. So there was a lot of contracts I could have signed that would have locked me in. So no offense to Primerica, but I realized that there are certain missions that people push, right? And it's like it will shield you from the full spectrum.
Yeah.
In the financial services industry, it's an ocean. You join one company, they're gonna push a pond on you. And you're gonna and there's so many beliefs on a lot of things in this industry to where it's like I don't get to argue no more, but when I first got started, I thought it was just so stupid, some of the arguments that people would have. I am independent. Like when I say independent, I mean like real life independent. I've signed multiple contracts and none of them are a non-compete. So I have the ability to think for myself and say, you know what? Not only am I going to get my insurance license, I'm going to get my health insurance license. I'm going to get my property insurance. I'm going to get my car insurance. I'm going to get my Series 66, my Series 7, and my SIE. Well, Ken, why would you do that? See, a person in one specific mindset, or you're just focused on this pond, you don't see what the world is offering. But when you really look at the whole entire spectrum of things, and like I'm not looking at making just a couple $100,000. Like I'm like, okay, but how can I build a company where we could, we can go IPO, we can make billions of dollars. I can own 1% of $1 trillion like Jeff Bezos and all these other people. The only way to do it is, of course, you get access. You get access that way. So I think that makes me a little bit different. Number two, I don't do the old school nothing. Like a lot of old heads, you got to go door knocking. You got to get to know your client. You got to do this. We use a lot of social media, right? I probably make more money in my home. I just got an office in October. I probably make more money in my home. Think about this. In my home than people that are paying for an office. Why? Because I know how to use what I have in my home. Here's another thing. A lot of my clients don't even know who I am. While these people is sitting here in the space, sitting down with the client, getting to know them. Hey, how's your family? My clients are buying my stuff. I don't have to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I keep it very simple. And of course, you're young. So my competition is 50, 60-year-old white male. That's my competition. Right? When I get on these calls, I have clients that are multimillionaires. Like, they're like, okay, bet. Here, I'm going to listen to you. Why? Because I don't make it complicated. I'm not trying to be in your business. I'm not trying to sit in your home, and I'm not trying to get to know you. People don't want to get to know nobody no more, bro. It's show and tell. Whoever is exposing the most, you're going to win the most. And then when you get that exposure, here's the other thing. And here's the reason why I decided to go independent, because you have a lot of small minds. People that think small. Like I had a guy tell me, you're not superhero. You can't do all of that stuff. Who? It's not even, I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. But let me tell you something. Systems, operations, procedures, and I look at people like Robert F. Smith, who's the number one wealthiest African American in, America. He's a superhero. He has a lot of things going on. He is not in a space to where he's looking at doing everything. He owns 1% of a $100 billion company. 1%. You look at Jeff Bezos. He's not superhero, but he owns 1% of a $1 trillion company. When we gonna start thinking like that? You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to do everything. I'm just trying to put myself in a position where I can own 1% of $1 trillion. Then I'm good.
Yeah. And the more I think, it's just like, that's the way to go, bro. Like, what do they say? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And when you are having the mindset of, I'm going to own 1% of this thing, that means that other people are owning those other parts. But with them owning those other parts, we have different things that are coming together to push this to that super, super high level. And that's a mindset that Black people do not have, bro. We have service-based businesses. I'm a service-based business, but we got like hairstylists, barbers that are doing it for 30, 40, 50 years. While it might be good money, it's not going to build into anything that's going to yield something like that 1% of 100 billion or 1% of 100 trillion or trillion. And we just got to open our minds to the different industries that we can get into. Like specifically something that I'm trying to get into is really just software getting in, and with the intent on building it for a specific person. Specific purpose for a specific company, so they could just buy me out. Okay, literally. Cool. Easy money, bro. All you got to do with that is find a developer that's good, have a great vision for it, and identify the problem and solve it for them. Just like I saw one video of somebody started a real estate brokerage where they eventually grew that into different segments. So they got into commercial, they got into industrial, and then they sold it to Berkshire Hathaway. So that was how they were able to get their 100 million, 200 million, well, probably like $500 million exit or something like that. And those type of lanes, we feel like isn't accessible to us. And we feel like we need to follow the path that people are telling us, which is go to college, but that's going to lock us in at that $300K a year maximum. That's not even, that's 1%. That's lower than 1%. Really, you finna be making just over 100K maybe. You know what I'm saying? And that's not enough, bro. The Black community's mental state on what financial stability looks like is so low because we've been put in a position, or we feel like we've been put in a position where this is all we can look at. When, like you said, you're looking at the richest Black person in the world. Some people are only looking at the richest person in a city. Some people are literally They like, oh, he got a Porsche. Oh my goodness, I gotta go get that. I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? While somebody out here is like literally flipping boats back to back, flipping islands back to back, doing crazy stuff. And that's the type of mental state that I liked, that I was able to acquire over time, bro. But like, I know you said you got open to that just by seeing like your mentor, Kadeem. What would you recommend for somebody that's trying to get that same type of exposure? Because it seems off limits, bro. Like for me personally, I'm gonna just say this last thing. I went to Chateau Elan probably like the first time, maybe 2 years ago, bro. Those were some of the most biggest houses, the most luxurious place I've ever been. And I've never heard about it my whole entire life. And it's only an hour away. And I'm like, why did I not know about this, bro? Why did I only know about Buckhead that's getting shot up every day? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would you say to those people that's trying to get that exposure?
I'll write it down first. Like a lot of the things that I have now and that I'm about to get, like I really believe it was already done. Yeah. Because I was very serious. Like you remember, like we would like this how serious I would get about things. I would call him,
Flyers,
like, hey, listen, I need a flyer that says this on it with my name, with my family in the background, with this car, with this, and boom. And I would print it out like 100, 200 times. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that, it's like, I had girls like, are you a fucking serial killer? like, why are you writing things down so much? It's because I really understand the product of success is understanding what you're saying, what are you writing, what do you focus on, things like that. Like,
so it's like vision boards. Like
vision
he was
boards,
printing
course.
out, making.
But I put it everywhere.
Yeah.
okay.
I would
Make
put
me
it
vision boards.
200
vision boards.
Everywhere. Everywhere I wanted to go. And I would have this one singular focus.
Yeah.
And that one singular focus will be my ultimate focus. I would start with that. And the reason why I would start with that is because if you don't learn how to do that, you lose it all. Like, let's say you just get all the money, right? You get all the money right now. You get $100,000 and you lose it all, which typically most people do. You don't know how to get it back. Because if you think it started with, you hustling and working or this specific industry, it didn't start there.
It didn't.
It started with you actually writing it down. You actually starting to believe in it. I didn't believe I could make money in insurance. I swear to God. Like, that was insane to me that people were actually buying from me because I didn't know people with insurance, so it didn't make sense. So I had to start writing that thing down first because I saw people making the money, but they were all white. It didn't make sense.
I feel like that's a green flag. If all the people in the industry is white, go into it.
It just depends. It just depends. I would say this. One thing that scares a lot of people that I was just on a phone with a girl. She thinks incredible, right? But sometimes you need that person to tell you, bro, you thinking too small.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody, let's say I say, hey man, I think you would be better working with CNN doing this, right? Or Fox News doing this. Well, I don't want to do that because of this, that, and the third. I say, well, they're going to give you the exposure. A lot of people don't know how to utilize things for their leverage for now to give them where they want to go. It's going to catapult you.
Delayed gratification, bro. Practice it and you'll be able to see why people are doing free work for somebody that they can provide value to. And then in that back end, a year later, they send their biggest client their way. People don't understand that reputation, you know what I'm saying? Getting into those exposure rooms, working for CNN, bro, that's connections to some of the literally people that control the narrative. You don't think they have something that they can teach you? You don't think they have connections that they can give you? And if you leverage yourself the right way, you provide value the right way, you depict yourself the right way, you know how to act, be professional, you can get whatever you want from these people because they want to give it to you. They got it to give. It's not like they just sitting there, oh, absolutely nobody can get this information from me. Bro, the people that I have encountered that I would not have ever thought I would encounter, they want to give you the information. They're like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Stay away from this, stay away from that. Make sure you remember this, blah, blah, blah. Like so many people I've encountered in just weird situations. But you got to get that exposure, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stop thinking so small.
Mm-hmm. You got to humble yourself too.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're in your 20s and 30s, you should be the most humble person ever. I don't care. Even if you think you're the big dog, you're not. Trust me.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be very, very humble, and you got to get rid of that ego. You have to be able to just show up. Like, stop looking at everything. I was telling this girl, we was at the event the other day, right? And I'm like, why didn't you go? Well, I want to. No, why didn't you go? Like, do you not understand? Like, it costs more for you not to be in a room. You just traveled from California to Atlanta to just sit in your house and tell me what you working on. No, you need to get in these rooms, feel on this energy, and get inspired by something. And you got to be humble enough to say, you know what, I'm going to do something for free. Yeah. People think that, okay, you get to where you're going because you got paid for it. No, I'm pretty sure 90 to 95% of the things that these people are doing are free. And I tell you, because I'm with them. And they're actually donating. They're writing checks for doing it now. So when I go to a speaking engagement with some mentors, they not getting paid for that stuff. They the ones writing the check saying, hey, listen, here's a $15,000 donation. Or whatever you was going to pay me, go ahead and just give it back.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that you got to get.
That's different, bro. I got to get paid for this. I got to have that money after this speaking engagement. But to say, no, I'm going to donate it. And what is that going to do to the people that you're doing it to? They're going to say, this is a person of good character. He didn't accept this time. We don't want to feel this way, so we have to give him something. We have to figure out how we can provide some value that he will take. And they're gonna come back a few months later and give it to him, bro. Maybe a bigger opportunity that's way bigger than they could provide. But it's that delayed gratification and it's in the small steps that people can take to work on that, bro. Like, is that something that you find yourself working on, either like not meaning to do it or intentionally? Like, is that something?
No, I'm very intentional.
Yeah.
Like, extremely intentional about where I go. You know what I'm saying? Places. Like, sometimes you get caught up in your mind, like, oh, I'm focused. No. Show up, show out, be as in many rooms as you can. I'm getting in contact with people in Congress now. I'm getting in contact with people downtown at the council centers. Because I learned so much from people. I realized that 90% of the things that I know now is not necessarily from courses. Yeah. And if you're an entrepreneur and you listen to this, you need to understand that. You're going to learn a lot more from people than you would from courses. They are going to allow you to skip levels that you've never even thought you would be able to. One conversation could change your life. Yeah. Like, I'm with people and they tell me, oh, they want to do this business. I say, all right, be right back. Hey, listen, this person does this. You need to meet this person. Boom. You're going to learn a lot more by just having that 10-minute conversation with them than, oh, well, let me go home and let me go research and da-da-da-da. No, you got to get in the room. You have to.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, bro. That's definitely something I'm working on. That was my first event.
Man, mine too, bro.
Yeah.
Very inspirational.
For this year, bro. And like, I've worked with so many people, bro, but nobody knows who I am, bro. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows who David Logan or D-Lo Views is. It's just been a lot of work put out. And me being intentional on getting in those rooms, like the one that we saw each other at, is going to have to be something that I have to take on, despite how I feel about it. Because, like, I don't necessarily like doing it, bro. Yeah. But in those situations, you got a dilemma. Are you going to get in your own way or are you going to get out of your own way, bro? And I feel like whenever someone brings up excuses to not do anything, like an actual excuse, like, you are perfectly able to go here and do this thing, but you bring up some type of excuse, I just don't tolerate it, bro. Because it's like, you could have done this and you say that you want this thing. You can't tell me you want something and then show me that you don't want it, bro. Cause now I'm not gonna look at you the same. It's gonna make me a little bit mad, bro, because I'm like, what are you doing? I like to push people forward that are around me. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody is constantly making excuses of why they can't do something, and in my situation, I have to do what's required. I understand that I may need to change a little bit of my personality to get what I want.
Exactly.
It's what's required. And those type of sacrifices people aren't willing to take. But why aren't they willing to take those sacrifices? That's a good question. Why do you think people always come up with something that they don't, like a reason why they don't want to do something when they say that they want to?
No, because you don't believe it. So, like, remember I was saying, I put the pictures and stuff up. Like, when I
That
do
helped
that,
you believe it.
I didn't believe that, like right now, what I'm believing for, right? In my car, I got a Lamborghini truck. You know what's so crazy? When I put the Lamborghini truck there, I got a friend that just bought a Lamborghini. I got another friend that just bought a G-Wagon. I got other friends that right now in Miami. God introduced me to two friends that live in my building with Lamborghinis, 21 and 19 years old.
19.
Hey, you getting closer, bro.
So it started with that picture, and I got introduced to 4 friends that bought the same cars.
Now you believe it more.
Now I'm believing it.
See,
You know what I'm saying?
Did you have the Benz on the
Did I have it?
on the
I drove a Nissan.
and you had the Benz
I
on
actually
the
just posted.
Yeah, bro.
I actually just posted.
wow.
Had a Nissan.
He had that thing on the
And I had it on
steering
the
wheel.
steering
vision
wheel.
board on the
And
back.
everybody thought it was
And now
crazy.
you got it.
Yeah, bro.
This is what it looked like.
Yeah, we'll put the picture on the screen. Send that to me. Man, that's different, bro. Cause number one, you worried about who's gonna get in my car and what are they gonna say to this. I gotta rip this off real quick so they don't see this corny ass thing I'm doing. But you think it's corny, bro. You think it's corny, but the fact that you not gonna do it is the reason you're not gonna get it. You not trying to get rid of your view of the world. And it's really ego. Like you said, getting rid of your ego. Because of this is how I want people to view me. I don't want them to view me as this person that's doing all of these mystical things or affirmations. My circle doesn't like that stuff. I have to let them view me this way.
That's who I
And
am.
getting rid of your ego, bro, throws that out the window. I'll do whatever. I'll talk to whoever. It don't matter. Like, humble yourself for real. And to your point on that, bro, knowing that even if you learned all the information on earth, you still don't know anything, bro.
Literally.
At all. You don't even know 0.0001% of things that are in the universe.
Exactly.
There's still more to know. So I think that people should be humble in their 20s and 30s, especially just because they're young and stuff, but be humble in your 70s and 80s because there's still some stuff you don't know.
New things, yeah.
You can always learn from different places, bro. But I just made this vision board. I got this just a bunch of stuff that I'm trying to attain, and I took this time when I was getting into personal development to basically reorder my desires because, like you said, there was a time where you thought you basically had a different mental state about this stuff. I was the same way, and I had to change that. My desires, reading those every day, saying I want these things, and then watching my actions actually change to go and get that stuff. It's different, bro. And you see the actual power that it does for you. And so that's like a lifelong thing that you're doing. Affirmations. Like, I feel like it just starts in the mind. If you can speak it into existence, you can bring it closer to you, bro.
Yeah.
And it's getting closer to you. It's getting closer and closer. You meeting more people with it. And now you don't even know. The next phone call might be, hey, bro, we want you to promote our car dealership on your page. We want to give you this yours, bro. Like, stuff like that happens.
It happens all the time.
How can we be trained to have such a small mind that we don't think anything is possible?
First, you gotta know who you are. Like, if you don't know who you are, then you need to figure out who you are. Like, if you look at every religion, right, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they all have the same exact teachings. And those teachings is to teach you who you are. And if you don't realize that, that's why you have Jesus. That's why you have all these different figures that are representations of you. A lot of people don't look at it.
Yeah.
So we look at, figures as if they're just this. No, they're examples of who we are in inside. I can really break it down. And if you don't know who you are, you're going to walk in a room like you don't know who you are. You're going to sit at a table like you don't know who you are. And people who know who they are hang around people who know who they are. That's why they be like, oh, why are the celebrities sleeping with each other? Why? Because they all know who they are. And they all only want to hang with people who know who they are.
Yeah.
And people who don't know who they are, guess what? They still stay where they at. They still stay stuck. They still stay with excuses. They still stay waiting on somebody to tell them what to do, blaming people, things like that.
How you get to know yourself? Is it by following, you saying religion or?
Well, I use religion as an example.
Yeah, so how would one get to know themselves?
You will get to know yourself by first saying what you are, right? So when you say I am this, I am that, that's where it really starts. That's the real foundation of who you are. It's what you tell yourself you are. You cannot know. I promise you right now, there are people right now who don't follow no religion, but they still follow the same principles that somebody who do follow religion and
that's the
be
thing.
successful at. Why? Because it's called a law. If I take this phone and I drop this phone right now, it's gonna do what? It's gonna drop.
Cause and effect.
If I continuously tell myself that I'm something, it's cause and effect. It's going to happen. It's a law. Guess what? I can't stop that phone from dropping, just like I can't stop the law from working. I have no control over that. Exactly. So when you look at life that way and you live a very principle-based life and you start to just get that knowledge and you start to really just seek some type of wisdom, and you really, I mean, it's too many books out here, number one. There's too much information. You got a phone. I was just telling somebody, I was like, man, you can look up the Warren Buffett, but he not smarter than me because I got a phone. Nobody's smarter than me because I got a phone. I can go look up whatever I want in 2 seconds, and I will be smarter than you. So when you take the time out to really seek, you will find it, period. That's just how life works. But you will find who you are, and you really just got to look at yourself. You know what I'm saying? Look at the things that you remember. Look at the things that you think about the most. What are you thinking about the most? Because whatever you think about the most controls your life, period. So if you're in a space to where all you're thinking about is work, guess what? Your job controls your life. Rich, successful, happy people, they think about their goals. They think about their life. They think about the things that they want to accomplish. That's why you look at people, they're like, man, why does this person look just clear? You know, they look like they're happy. More than likely is what they're thinking about. But why does this person look so stressed and down? More than likely is what they're thinking about.
Yeah, bro.
It's the cause and effect.
I don't think you can get away from how you really feel, bro. I don't think you can really get away from the essence of what's inside of you, bro. If a person is a negative person, they will look negative, they will act negative, they'll walk negative, they will speak negative, they'll breathe negative. It all shows. And people, they don't know those signs are there because they're not looking for them. Bro, you can see who a person is and what they're about and what they're thinking about just by how they're acting, bro. Pay attention to a person's actions and you'll see exactly what they're on, bro. But you said something important, bro. Living a life of principles. Like, what principles would you say that you hold highest?
Man, it's just really just growing, just seeking. I spend $100 a week on therapy. So we don't miss that. And I've been doing that, consistently. I've been with the same person about 3-4 years now. And those principles that I go by, number one, humility. You know what I'm saying? It got to be there. Number one, making sure that I'm speaking correctly, making sure that what I'm hearing, you have to, first off, if you are in a space to where you're getting so tense, only focus on the things that you can control. Yeah. Period. You can only control what you see, hear, taste, touch, smell. Everything else is not in your control. If I don't want to see something, I close my eyes. Period. It's just that simple. Those are the things that you can control. So those are the main principles that you would start with. So if I don't want to see poor people, guess what? I need to I was in a dorm room, but I would put pictures of cars. I put pictures of Grant Cardone. I put pictures of of all these different
Your
things.
mind is seeing it. It doesn't know, like, this isn't the real world. This is something I printed out, but this is what I'm seeing. How can I get this?
I can't control the dorm room, but I can't control the picture that I put up.
That's so smart. That's smart, bro. If you a college student, bro, put some stuff that change your environment, control your environment. Put some pictures up. Let people walk into your dorm room and see that you got this luxurious ass catalog of print out pictures, bro. And just see how that changes your life though. Like that's crazy, bro. To think that cause I have stuff in my room. I got little sticky notes like large family mansion, bank account this much, business bank account that much. I got stuff like that, but I don't have like nothing in my cart, and I'm about to put something in my cart just because you like introduced that to me. And guess what I did? I learned that from a person. I didn't learn that from a course.
Exactly.
I didn't learn that from just, you know what I'm saying, willy-nilly, bro. I learned that from a person. And that's one thing that I had to learn as well, is like, because I used to have like a different mindset about like people, like my interaction with people, how I feel about them. But people really are the reason that I know everything that I know.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why I started sharing my life is because if nobody decided to share their life, I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't know a single thing what I know. I wouldn't know about entrepreneurship. I wouldn't know about graphic design. I wouldn't know about YouTube. I would not know about any of this stuff. So just look at people for steps. Look at people as stepping stones to get to where you want to go, because they can help you. You don't have to be afraid to talk to people. You don't have to be afraid to be in a room. Like, being in that room, bro, if I had never been to a networking event before, I would have been like, bro, this is what? I can't talk to nobody in here, bro. Then you walk up to somebody random and they're a high-class individual, and it's like, this person is normal just like me.
Literally. Oh, it was some heavy hitters in there.
Bro,
Man,
it was
what,
some
man?
money in
It
there,
was
bro.
heavy
It was,
hitters.
I think it was at least 100 million, in that room. And it was straight black people.
I know one person that was in there that's making $20 million a month.
A month.
Yeah. So at
That's talking
least,
about the event from
bro.
the other day.
Huh?
That's talking about the event from the other day.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I ain't gonna lie, it was intimidating. But they had to give me a whole pep talk before I walked in. I'm like, bro,
it's
I don't know.
like these I was
people on
telling
another
him that
level.
these people literally got to get ready, put on their clothes just like us, bro. They got to brush their teeth every morning. Why? Because they teeth be feeling a little dirty after the end of the day,
Just
bro.
like
Like,
everybody
it's the
else.
same thing, bro. And you can have a conversation with them. Let's say that conversation doesn't go right. You go ahead and have another conversation with somebody
Right, bro,
else.
You're not gonna die.
But guess what, bro? Guess what I had to notice? There's not a single conversation that I had before that went wrong. So why do I not have confidence in speaking to people? I have the proof that it will go right. So why am I putting this on myself? And it's you getting in your own way, bro. You got to get out your own way.
Get out your own way.
See what I'm saying? Like, what would you say to that? Getting out your own way. Is there a way that you had to get out your own way, or were you able to, you know, be blessed with the gift to be able to just have initiative and move on your own?
Nah, man. I was just telling, I'm always talking to people. So I was just telling a girl yesterday, we were talking about the whole, so once you become a securities license advisor, that's when you can build hedge funds, you can raise capital, things like that, right?
Is that like the hardest to get in terms of financial stuff?
I don't think so. I don't think it's pretty easy. But it is, a lot of people don't like it because of the compliance, right? They watch your social media, they watch your bank accounts, they watch a lot of things, right? And the most people, I don't want to do that. And I asked her, I said, are you planning on doing anything illegal? So what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have controlled our mind to think like these people are bad. I don't want to give them no information on me. Why? Are you planning on being the next Bernie Madoff? So that was something I had to overcome. So for a long time, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that because I don't want people in my business. Or I'm not going to post on social media because I don't want people in my business. I don't want this. Like, bro, like, you're costing yourself so much, you don't even understand. The price is a lot higher not doing it than you actually taking the time to actually just get it done. So that was one thing I'm glad I finally got over, because I'm like, bro, I'm thinking like a scared person. I'm thinking like a, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you thinking like that?
Yeah.
And you look back at yourself, you're like, bro, you ever look back at yourself like when you was 15, 16, 17?
Cringing at yourself.
Like, ugh.
Why was I doing that?
Like, you look at your old videos, what am I
Oh,
doing?
God.
When you consistently like evolve, you would start to look back at yourself and like, oh my God, I cannot believe I was thinking so small.
Yeah.
I was thinking like that. I couldn't believe I was talking to people. Why was I talking to that girl? Like, what was I like? Who did I expect in myself? And I had somebody tell me, your power is not in what you say yes to, it's what you say no to.
Yeah.
So if you constantly are allowing things in your life and you're constantly saying yes, 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 that ain't cool. That's not your power. Your power is your ability to look at something that you truly don't want and say, no, that's not what I want anymore. I'm going to start thinking like this because this is the route that I want to go on for the rest of my life.
You taking control when you say no.
Take a lot of control when you say no.
And that's, bro, we was just talking about last episode. Go watch last episode. The things that you say no to, bro. Everybody wants to have sex. Everybody feels sexual desire. But can I say no to that sexual desire? Can I abstain? Can I use this and have sexual transmutation push me into further heights? Can I say no? Why can't we say no? I feel like people just think that they can't go without something. One thing that I really noticed though, when you're in a decision, when you're like in a dilemma of like, should I do this thing or not do this thing? Wait like 5 minutes. Like wait 5 minutes and see where your head's at. Chances are your decision it's not even going to be a decision. You're not even going to be thinking about it anymore. Specifically with like sexual desire, bro. If you feel like you want to go do some stuff right now, wait 5 minutes. It's going to be gone. But you make that decision in that present moment within 10 seconds of you feeling that feeling. You're influenced by your feeling. Thinking with your feelings rather than logically. Thinking logically is going to say, what do I want? Is doing this action going to get me to what I want? If not, then there's a no-brainer answer. And if you have control over yourself, if you can control yourself, then you can say no every single time. But we have a huge problem with that, bro. I see people, bro, I think I said this on every episode, bro. There is no reason why people should be in the hood, driving a hoopty, pulling up to the liquor store every day, bro. You're not celebrating anything. You're celebrating sadness. You're celebrating brokenness, bro. I don't know why people are so okay with being in that position. Like, even people that are still okay with being in the position of being a learner rather than a doer. Like, why do we stay in that position? Like, what would y'all say to that? Like, why can't I stop learning and go do? Why can't I stop what I'm doing here and go get what I actually want? Are my desires not there?
I think they done got into a comfortable state. So like they comfortable where they are, even though it might not look the best. They comfortable there, like, and they're drinking. You said they pulling up to the liquor store. That just keeps them comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So they like, what am I? I'm not happy where I'm at. I know if I go get this drink, I'm gonna be cool. I go pull up to the liquor store. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I say that I want more.
They don't really want it. That's what I keep saying, but they don't want it that bad. And they have found ways to keep them comfortable in that state.
So
you know,
so
you uncomfortable. You'll be uncomfortable where they are. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get out of there. They doing stuff to keep them comfortable. Drinking make me comfortable here. So.
I never thought about it.
It's your associations. Like if you really, really pay attention to human reactions and characters, we always get it's all based on our associations.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, my mama do that. Oh, my sister do that. My brother like that.
Yeah.
It's in your DNA.
Yeah.
Not only is it in your DNA, it's the people that are around you. Yeah. So like you ever heard people say, oh, that's white privilege. And, oh, that person is privileged. Well, guess what? They believe that they deserve to be privileged because the people around them made them believe that they were privileged. Yeah. So why you don't believe that you got black privilege? You get what I'm saying? It's based on your associations. So I'm around rooms that we was in. I'm pretty sure people will look at that and, oh, that's black privilege. Because they walk around like, oh, yeah, I deserve to be here. Because
literally
of
a free room. Anybody can just walk in here, really.
No, seriously, bro. Bro, I know people that will walk into that room and be like, bro, who do these people think they are? Dressing up like this. Pulling up in this type of car. Valet.
Security.
What?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
So perspectives. People got these different.
And that's crazy, bro. So when you talk about that vicinity, like, did you ever have a time where you had to get out of the vicinity of certain people in order to, go to
my whole family is street, bro. Like, I'm the only one in my family like this.
Dang. That's crazy.
My whole entire family. So it's like, at times you would think like, man, like I invited them to this. Like I remember I cried backstage. I had an event and I spoke in front of 3,000 people. It was in Atlanta, and not one family member showed up. And it was like, man, you're crying because you was like, no, nigga, I'm crying because I'm mad. Because I didn't work so hard. And the people that I used to hang out with every day, I used to get changed diapers with every day, they're not here. I had my cousin, man. I love this guy. I had a ticket for him, right in the front. He was like, man, I'm ready to change. I'm ready to, And I remember he came. He texted me, he said, cuz I'm here. I said, okay, bet. Just come in the front. Just tell me your name. They got you in the front. So like an hour later, he texted me. He said, bro, you didn't tell me it's going to be this many people. I'm like, what?
So he left?
He left.
There was so many people.
That's crazy.
So I'm like, what in the world? That showed me that I was like, okay, like, bro, like everybody, it's not for everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is different. So it's like, man, like sometimes on your journey, you real life have to go along. Really, you have to. And you just got to find friends on the way there.
Yeah.
And you just got to be your own best friend. So I've been my own best friend for a very long time. And people have came and gone because I will forever keep evolving. I will not be the same at 23 like I'm at 33.
Yeah.
If we are still the same and we're still having the same conversations, guess what? It's not it's not a thing, I'm cutting you off and all of that. Like, I don't even do stuff like that. You're just going to get uncomfortable even being around me because the conversations that I have at this point, like, that's why I can't keep a girlfriend because she won't talk about, I don't want to talk about that. We passed that. We on this now.
Trying to get that bag.
And I'm constantly evolving. I'm becoming a different person. And it could be very uncomfortable for the people. Like, when you grow, the wrong people are going to leave immediately, consistently.
For
like,
sure. It's
just going to happen. You don't have to cut people off. You don't have to block people. You don't have to do all that. Just consistently be who you are. Change your circle. Go to events like that. You're going to meet one, as long as you meet one person. All it takes is one person to change your life. Yeah. Like, change your thoughts, change your mindset. One person. One person. You meet one, it was one guy. His name is Myron Golden, right? I mean, this dude, $20 million a month earning. Like, his business does $20 million a month. He was one of the richest guys in that room. Mm-hmm. He doesn't think in a sense of, I'm trying to make $1 million. He's like, bro, how do I get to $1 billion a year? That's what he's thinking about. The stuff that he sells, his packages minimum start off at $150,000 minimum. Mm. His highest deal is like $10 million. And he's getting people to pay for it. Yeah. In your mind, you like, bro, where do I find somebody with $150,000? You would be thinking like real small. You don't know. You like, bro, I didn't even think I could do that. And guess what? You get around people like that, you had just one conversation with them, you realize that y'all, like you said, y'all are no different, number one. And the only difference between you and him is he thinks a lot more of himself than you do. And he changed his associations.
Okay. So you believe.
Literally.
Yeah. Okay.
That's crazy, bro. I want to switch the gear a little bit, though, bro, because I wanted to get something specific from you to talk to Gen Z specifically about. We're young right now, and it seems like we don't have health complications. We don't have anything crazy going on. We feel like we have so much time. Mm-hmm. Why is it important for every single one of us in Gen Z right now to get health insurance or life insurance?
Mm-hmm. So here's why it's important. Number one is because you should utilize it as a tool, as an asset, right? So if you don't know what it is right now, definitely, do your research. Figure out how can I utilize this tool as an asset. If you're walking around this world and somebody says, what's your net worth? And you're like, I don't think I have a net worth. That means that you're missing something. I have clients right now that are spending $10 a month and their net worth is in the 100,000s. Yeah. So your net worth, not saying that's your value, but your net worth is going to amount to something. So you need to have that. Not because you're going to die soon. It's because you had the discipline to prepare for your next level. So now that you got that net worth, you working that hard to buy a house, you working that hard at the job. Why don't you work that hard to keep all of those things if anything was to happen to you? Okay. So for my younger people, what I would suggest is getting insurance policy with the savings account. Majority of my policies, they have a savings account attached to it. So that means that as I'm putting money into it, I'm not just buying insurance. I'm buying the interest, I'm utilizing, and they're paying me as I store my money into the policy along the way. So I got money just sitting in there, and it's just compounding interest over time with, probably like a $60,000 to $100,000 death benefit attached.
Okay. So that how do we approach like a financial advisor to get both a life insurance plan and a savings account attached to it? And is there like specific life insurance plans? Because like I didn't know I had a life insurance plan. I got one under my parents. I'm considering getting another one. Would you recommend something like that?
Yeah,
like getting multiple.
I would suggest getting a personable one that's personalized specifically for you. So if you got one with your job, that's okay. If you got one, but it's not enough. It's okay, but it's not enough. You can have one with your job. You can have one with your parents. Those are really easy ones that you can actually get access to, which is perfect. But the ones that are designed specifically for you, that means that you have to go through a full background check. You have to go through a full consultation with someone, and they will design one based on your goals and your plans. So I would definitely meet with someone that's either a financial advisor or insurance person, and I will ask them, hey, listen, how can I get either a whole life policy or index universal life policy that will allow me to build up cash value very, very soon, like day one?
Okay.
So
a whole life or a cash value?
So either a whole life policy, right, or index universal life policy.
Index universal.
So index universal life, if you're, in your 20s, early 30s, index universal life would be the way to go because it's very competitive in a sense of you're in a situation where you got these 401ks out here. You got these IRAs, you got these vehicles that are doing that compound interest for retirement savings. An index universal life policy will operate slick the same way, but you'll be in a situation where your money has a floor, zero downturn potential. So you can't lose money in these policies, but you're earning interest based off of indices, certain stocks, S&P 500, NAS 100, things like that.
Index. Okay.
So you're growing interest over time, and you just storing your money away. You're just storing it consistently, and you can utilize it as a retirement vehicle.
Wow. See, I always thought I was under the impression that life insurance was for your people when you die. Like it wasn't even something that you could use while you.
It's kind of like, so the way that it was explained to me one time was kind of like equity in a house. So like,
Yes.
if you want a $1 million policy or something and you put 50,000 into it, when you do that, you're able to borrow against, and take that money out and distribute it how you want. And there's a payment term, maybe like 6 months or a year or something like that.
So what happens is, it's this term called arbitrage, right? That a lot of wealthy people have mastered. So when you're talking about student loans, right? Student loans aren't student loans because of, I got $150,000 to pay back. No, you got $150,000 plus interest to pay back. You didn't just buy a house for $500,000. You bought a house for $1 million. Why? Because that extra $500,000 is the interest. It don't take you that long. It don't take you 30 years to pay $500,000 back. It take you 30 years to pay $1 million back. Yeah. So what happens is a lot of people, they've decided to reverse psychology, this whole entire thing, put their money into another space. So they utilize insurance policies to store their money in that will grow interest over time. The interest in the insurance policy will cancel out the interest on the debt that you possibly have.
Wow.
So if you're paying 6% over here, you're earning 6% over here, guess what? It cancels out.
Okay.
So now it helps your debt go down a whole lot more. So the purpose of you being able to take the money out is so you can pay the debt over here. Now, Keyon, how do I take my money out over here but be able to pay the debt over here? Is because you could take the money out as a loan. When you take the money out as a loan, your money is still earning interest as if the money is still there. So if I'm still earning that 9.25% cap rate on the S&P 500, it's not going to be affected just because I took my money back out.
Because you didn't take it out. You just took it out as a loan.
Exactly.
You're going to pay it back. It's coming back. It's still there. So it's still going to grow. Wow, that's amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah. So your goal is to, usually, most people I would suggest is to put it into an income producing activity that will allow you to actually pay yourself back. Because you do want to pay yourself back. If you choose not to, of course, nobody's going to call you, check up on you, and, like, hey, you got to pay back. But you want to store it into a vehicle that is going to grow high yielding interest over time. Because that's a lot. Like I had seen in an election year, it was like one vehicle did 34% credited. 34%. So imagine right now, like I said, people live off money. Let's say you go make $1 million. You just go hustle, go make $1 million, right? And you made 34% on $1 million. That's $340,000.
That's nice.
That's the thought of a wealthy person. They not trying to make a whole bunch of money and keep making money. They trying to make a whole bunch of money, boom, dump it somewhere so they can live off the interest. So now I'm just taking interest over time. So
nah, that's crazy, bro. Okay, so for specifically like 20-year-olds, is that something that we should be looking to take advantage of in terms of like being able to borrow against it and put it in, income generating assets?
yeah, you're already late because if you didn't do it at the first 2 months of your life, you're already late. So your parents should have already set you up.
Yeah.
They should have set you up. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't have the knowledge. So if you got kids, you need to get a whole life policy, go in and set your kids up. Because you can have it starting of your life and start funding that over time. And eventually that can be their birthday present when they're 18 years old, pass it down to them. Yeah. So you already 20 years late. So yeah, it ain't, you think you young? No, you're old. You're old in this space. So yeah, if you're 20 years old and if you're only putting your money in the bank, you are behind. Yeah. Believe it or not.
The main space that I hear life insurance being used the most in is generational wealth. Mm-hmm. So not just offsetting those funeral charges, but saying my family is going to get this amount when I die. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested in that as well. But I'm interested in creating a system like some of the other systems that you're probably aware about, using trust funds, estates, things like that. What's a good starting point for getting into that high level operation of generational wealth using life insurance and trust and stuff like that?
First, get someone of counsel, of knowledge, of, that really knows what they're doing. Like myself, preferably, of course. But you get someone of counsel, right? And you want to evaluate your family because wealth is built through a family. When you look at people that are building wealth, they're building it through their family. When you look up Trump name, you're going to see his daddy, you're going to see his daddy, and now you're going to see his son because wealth is built through a family. So now when you look at the family and you talk about the trust, if you're not trying to build wealth with your family, you don't need a life insurance policy and you don't need a trust. It just doesn't make sense. But due to the fact that you're young and you want to start this thing and it can start with your generation, it could start with you. And it starts with you by number one, okay, let's reevaluate our family, right? We reevaluate our family, start doing things as a family. That means that now I get a trust. That trust is a living, breathing entity. It's just not a living being, human being, but it can do the same things you can do. Yeah. It could go buy a car. It can go buy a house. It can go, you ever seen the movie Power and Ghost is still controlling the whole entire thing? Guess what? He's not controlling. The trust is. Exactly. He's still living to this day because the trust owns everything. So you have that trust in place. And now what happens is we would put all of our assets. So we would put the house. We would put the life insurance. We would put everything in place. And there's certain prerequisites. There are certain things that has to happen before they're able to get that money, before they're able to get that house. So you could set standards. So if you have a household and you don't have laws in your household, right? There are laws in this country. You need to have laws in your household. Everybody in this household has to get a degree, right? Yeah. Everybody in this household has to start a business. Everybody in this household has to do this, right? In order for them to get that type of money. That's what the trust is for. It's to demand certain things if anything was to happen. Now, the main thing is when that generational wealth starts kicking in. Right now, if I was you, I would start on the oldest person in their family. Okay. Yeah, all the cousins, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? You got an extra $100? You got an extra $100? Okay, bet. We all gonna put it on granny and grandpa. And, if granny and grandpa got a problem, you can't start generational wealth. That is the easiest way. If I was 70, 80 years old, I would sit all my kids down. Hey, listen, you need to be putting $100 a month to my $100,000 policy. And at the end, hey, listen, y'all go split the money however y'all want to split it. To go buy a house, to go buy this, go buy that. That is how money works, people. Yeah. It's recycled over time. I spend $60 a month for $1 million policy. that same $60 is going to last me until I'm probably like 48 years old or something.
That's crazy.
So what we talking about? You know, if anything happens throughout that time frame, it's already set up. There's the prerequisites. If you don't do this, you can't get this. Boom, or that money is just gonna sit here and it's gonna sit there for life.
Okay, so a trust is where you place these rules, as you would say, like the laws. So every single family member needs to take this type of education before they're able to pull money out of this asset or even deal with this asset. Or every person has to graduate high school and then they can get part of this fund. So that's where you would do that.
Yeah, the trust will own and control everything.
Okay.
So own nothing, control everything. That's where that saying comes from.
And these are like official documents.
Yeah, it's an official document. It's a living, breathing document. A lot of celebrities, they're in a situation where they were messed up, like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, all these people. They are messed up because they didn't have these vehicles in place.
Wow.
So if you can go look up their estate. A lot of these people don't have these vehicles in place, and now they're in a situation to where they can't control nothing because they're not here. Now their kids is in court begging for they daddy money. That don't even make sense. My dad is Michael Jackson. Why do I have to beg for his money? Now you got to prove to a judge, you know? So you give your power away if you don't have these vehicles in place. Everybody needs a trust, right? Yeah. Everybody needs a trust. You can utilize a trust to actually bring down your taxable liabilities. So a lot of people, you know, you're excited about getting money for taxes. Okay, that's cute. But once you start actually making money, you want to go ahead and get a trust so we can start bringing down those taxable liabilities. Yeah. And we start writing things off within the trust. That's totally different because, you know, you probably went from paying 30% taxes to about 2 to 5% taxes. So it's a different rule to the game when you utilize that.
Okay, so what's the smallest version of using a trust? Like, a trust has one asset in it. That one asset, like, is that the simplest way to do it? So can I put a trust over my LLC that I have right now?
Yes. So there are over 150 types of trust. So what happens is a trust is based on your asset class at the moment. So let's say, for example, you just only have a life insurance policy. Okay, you need an estate trust. Okay. Let's say eventually you get, you know, you need, eventually you skip there, and a few years later, you got all these businesses and all this other stuff. Okay, bet you need an irrevocable trust. Why? Because you got the businesses going on. Let's say you become a billionaire. All right, you need a foundational trust, right? That's where you see Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That's where you see Trump Foundation and all these. These are trusts, right? So once you get to that level, it's based on your asset class. So you start from where you are, and you continue to build from there.
Okay, so the first one that I should get is
an estate.
An estate trust. I need to start there. Over time, I will go up into the next one, as you said, and then the foundational.
As you get more assets. Okay. You get more assets, you know what I'm saying? You start putting your cars in there. You start putting your businesses, right?
Yeah.
Banks, bank accounts have trust. You can go ask for a trust bank account. Everything that you could do with your social, which is nothing more than a number, a trust could do.
Okay.
So you can.
So is it like, okay, let's say you're getting sued. Can they come after, like, if your stuff in a trust? Do they have access to that? Like,
so in the simplest answer is it just depends, right? Now there are ways to actually. I don't want to say too much, but there's ways to breaking it, but sometimes it could take a long time. Sometimes it's ways to get around it. You know, most people are like, well, if you put your stuff in a trust, nobody can see you. It's not true. Right? It's not true.
Because that's what I was under impression of.
No, it's not true. The more trust you have, the harder it is. That's the truth. Okay? So the more trust I have, the harder it is. The more assets that I have, it's harder to figure out, okay, who owns this trust, that trust, that trust. But if you have one specific trust, but what they're stating is, let's say, for example, this house, right? Trip and fall. All right, man, you own this house. I'm going to sue you.
Okay. I don't own this house, though.
I don't own the house. So in the simplest version, then, you know, if they try to sue you, case dismissed. Easy.
Okay.
That's an easy case dismissed. Okay. But if you got a smart lawyer, you know, that can figure out who owns the house, you go look up who owns the deeds of the house and just sue the person who owned the deed. But a lot of people don't be thinking, man.
Okay.
They just want some money.
That's crazy. So as we close out a little bit, like, what's some advice that you would give Like, who's your audience? Who do you want to help in this lifetime?
I believe everyone is an audience. You know what I'm saying? If you understand the language that I'm speaking, you know what I'm saying, or it could be translated, everybody's an audience. But the lessons that I would give people is, of course, be in a situation to where you move first and think later. Like a lot of people, they think first and move later. I believe in being in a situation to where you learn through experience.
Yeah.
So if you trying to go swim, you can't swim by watching this person swim. You can't swim by watching the course. You have to actually get in the water.
Yeah.
Because the more experiences that you have, the more elevation that you get, the more qualifications that you get, the more confidence that you would be. So a lot of people are watching other people and waiting to see when is the right time. No, make a move now. And if you mess up, guess what? That's a lesson learned. And you have to look at it as I call it my research development fund. Anything that I mess up is a research development fund. I just throw those ideas in, and guess what? If I lose money, guess what? It just went to research. I know not to do it again. So that's why I would encourage people.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing.
I do have a quick question. I don't know if they about to come downstairs, but I know earlier you said you couldn't date because you be elevating and you be leaving them behind.
Constantly elevating.
Do you feel like women are a distraction for what you got going on?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I used to.
Okay.
I used to. I just got a relationship, right? Oh, so sad, right? But I'm actually glad with this over with because I believe that the relationship, I believe this, right? Especially as men, young black men, I only know one person that's married, and that's my mother. No offense to my mother, but, I wouldn't I'm not the type of man that my mom would, type stuff. So as a man, there are certain things that you have to know. And you have to know about women, period. So if you just don't date in your 20s, that's why I'm like, I don't listen to everybody. Don't date in your 20s. Or don't talk to nobody in your 20s. So now when I'm 30, I got all this money, I'm a lame, and I'm spending all this money on these females. That's what you want me to do? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to date in my 20s. So because you can't skip levels. You're always going to. So if you're 30, guess what? You're going to be dating like you would at 18 years old because you don't know what to do out here.
Okay.
So if you get in a relationship, like every relationship I've ever been in, I don't regret it because it taught me something about myself. So I'm not afraid to be in a relationship and 6 months later we gone. I'm not afraid of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's okay. It's perfectly fine because like I said, research development fund. Like my last girl, she taught me so much, her through complaining, of course. She taught me so much about my emotions. Like I realized that I'm not emotional at all. I realized I'm damn near like a robot. Yeah. And she used to say it all the time. So now my mantra is I am emotionally available. I have emotional intelligence. I can be open emotionally. Because she felt like she couldn't come to me about nothing because it was so logical.
Yeah.
So you can't build a relationship off of logic. That's horrible. Nobody want to stay with nobody just logical.
Yeah, right.
So imagine me figuring that out at 34 years old.
Yeah, you done, bro. What you trying to bring your emotions back at 34? Ain't nobody waiting on that, bro. Yeah. They want you to come fixed, bro. Nah, but females, man, do what works for you, bro. Because it's always gonna be that one person. Oh, but females bring this to your life, bring that to your life, bro.
Do it.
See what you get from it, bro.
Don't be a sucker now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't just be spending a whole bunch of money and all this other, and don't fall in love. Don't just be falling in. Take it for an experience. Take it for whatever it is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Learn from it. Learn from the situation. Really pay attention to that woman. And when you pay attention to that woman, you'll realize all the women are saying the same thing. Every time I've ever done something, it's like they all know each other or something. It's kind of weird. So I realized that, like I said, you can't skip levels. You can't. The same thing that she was complaining about, the other girl was complaining about. I'm like, dang, y'all must know each other. And it's like, okay, that's something that I have to work on. Exactly. I can't look at you and be like, you the problem. I have to look at myself and say I'm the problem. So no, women, any relationship that you get into is a blessing. And especially if someone can be honest with you and hold you accountable. Men don't want to be held accountable. That's the problem. So that's why they don't like relationships. When you see all these men on these podcasts, they got a whole bunch of money, they don't want the discipline. It ain't got nothing to do with the money. It got the fact that they know for a fact that in order for them to become their best self, they have to be disciplined. And they don't want to do that because they don't believe that they can do that. So if you don't believe that you can be married, I didn't believe I can be. I never even thought about being in a marriage until I turned 23. 23. Wow. I never even thought that I was going to get married. I'm still not married, trust me. But I had a hard time even believing that that was something for me. That is not okay. Yeah. That's really bad. That's That's actually very horrible and disgusting. That's a thought that you should go ahead and get rid of.
Wait, that you don't want to be married?
No, it would, because I kept saying that, oh yeah, the women out here, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
So we had talked so crazy about it.
And it makes you act like that.
And we act like it. Ooh. And we're attracted. But you know, in reality, you really want a one girl that's going to hold you down, that's going to raise your kids, because you long for that because you ain't have it when you was a kid. So you're doing yourself a disservice because you're going to leave this earth not being the best version of yourself. I heard one guy say this, right? He said, it is risky it's risky getting in a marriage. Mm-hmm. It's riskier being single. If you look at all the men that are getting into DUIs, that are getting into shootouts, all these different things, killing themselves, all this other stuff, these are not married men. These are not men with things to lose. These are men that have nothing to lose and they don't care. If I go home drunk right now, guess what? Nobody's gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, okay,
exactly.
Do you feel like now that you popping your shit the way you popping your shit, you feel like the love be a little less genuine? Like, is she here because she really fuck with me, or is she here because?
How do you?
Yeah, like, do you feel like the dating scene is a little?
I think you gotta date on your level.
Okay.
Because I want her to feel the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, every girl I talk to from now on, like, I recently that's why I got to go to therapy, because me and him was talking, and he was like, bro, like, you got to stop talking to girls that you really don't like. Like, when I just broke up with that girl, I was in a space where I'm like, let me just go talk to a girl just because, so I can get back in the game.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, you can't do that. You only should aim for girls that you actually talk to. So now I'm very selective with who I actually talk to. And all these girls are bosses, like, in their own way. You know what I'm saying? They giving me advice, I'm giving them advice. Okay. So it ain't no, I'm watching you. Nah, because I'm dating up. I'm not dating down.
Okay.
So that would be my answer for that.
Okay. I'm trying to go find me. Find me or go, mom, bro, take care of me. Nah, nah, for real. Bro, you think I'm lying, bro? Somebody pull up in that Mercedes with that hat on, I'm hopping in. I'm sorry. But yeah, man, this has been episode 12, bro. Thank you so much. Not only for coming, bro, but giving that information, because you gave some high level information, bro, that will open up people's eyes to the possibilities of what they can attain in this world and how they can set up their family as well, bro. So I appreciate you for that. But remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you comment your favorite part. And of course, follow Keylock. You want to link anything? You got any?
You can follow me on everything. It's Keylock. You can follow me on everything. It's Keylock. You type my name in Google, YouTube, Keyon Edwards, Keyon Edwards. And you can reach out to this number if you have any questions, 470-238-0149. Either myself or my team will get back to you.
Perfect. Well, without further ado, you got anything to say, Cyrus?
Send it to the group chat.
Yeah, send it to your mama, your auntie, everybody. We say this every episode. Send it, bro.
Send it to the group chat, man. What you doing?
Yeah, man, this is Pure Intentions out.